not a nice person, you're just a people pleaser. Hey, hold yourself accountable, because we've all been there. If you're sick and tired of feeling like you're not fulfilling yourself in other aspects of your life because you're bending back over for other people, then you definitely need to watch this video. So today's video, I'm going to be covering how to stop people pleasing and examples of people pleasing, and how you can set certain boundaries to avoid being put in these uncomfortable situations. You need to understand that there's no such thing as being too nice and having, or being so kind and being so caring and like caring for other people. Oh, I was just born like that. No, you were not born like that. There's a reason why you're that way. It's either you were conditioned to think that if you don't act a certain way, you would not be worthy of somebody's love or attention, or like just their presence or whatever. You were probably conditioned to think that way, or you somehow convince yourself that you need to always bend over backwards for people, or for people to be in your life, or for you to maintain a spot in their lives. Okay, simply you were just raised with like a seeking validation mindset. For a lot of us, I feel like we don't even realize that it comes from our childhoods. Like for me, for example, I'm a recovering people pleaser. It stems from, you know, I'm the oldest child, especially in an African household. It's very, very, very prominent. This is very normal. A lot of us don't even know that we're people pleasers. We think we're just nice and high achieving and blah blah blah, when in reality we're people pleasers that cannot stand the thoughts of not impressing every single person in the room. One thing that helped me identify that I was people pleasing was that I would always do things even when I don't feel like doing them for other people. I know it's not out of love, because if it was out of love, why is it leading to resentment? I would always do things because I would be afraid of how the next person would react, not even considering my own feelings. If you're constantly doing things for people just because you're afraid of how they may react if you don't do them, it's not out of love. It's going to lead to resentment. You're just very, very much avoidant. I thought that I was so peaceful and I'm maintaining the peace and the calm, and like, no, babe, you're just avoidant, and that eventually leads to resentment building on, because at some point you're human. You're not going to see it now. It's not going to come today. Before you know it, you don't even realize you've detached completely emotionally from that person, and it's just a build up of like, okay, like I'm sick and tired of this. Another thing that helped me realize, this is how to spot people pleasing, okay? When you care so much about what other people think about you, and I'm not talking about just your family, your friends, it could be something as small as the way you dress, your outfit. Me before, personally, I could not for the life of me wear any outfit without asking somebody, oh, does this look nice? Like, do you know what, like, does this look nice? Am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? Am I this? Am I that? Like, when you cannot be confident in one decision, even though it's something as little as picking out an outfit to wear to an event, or picking something to eat, something that you are going to eat, not something that anybody else is going to eat. Like, I'm not saying, like, sometimes it's not like you cannot ask people's opinions, but when I found out that every single time I had to like ask somebody like, oh, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? That's how I knew I had people pleasing traits. I was so obsessed with like predicting people's emotions before I even bring a topic to them. Like, I've not even said what's wrong, or I've not even said how I'm gonna feel about a certain way. Like I said, I'm not even done working through this. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I wouldn't even consider how like it's made me feel. I just automatically like skip to the fact that, okay, this person's gonna shut it down, or this person is just not gonna be happy with me, so I just automatically shut down how I'm feeling and just keep it pushing. I'd be completely avoidant. There's no such thing as being nice, and I feel like when people use the word nice, they only use the word nice because they know that you're a people pleaser, essentially. Like, I don't have very good connotations for the word nice, because I feel like when you're considered a nice person, people only come to you because they know that you're gonna put them above you, and people can tell when you're a people pleaser. They know, because they won't stop asking you for something, even and the second you should say no, or like say I'm unavailable, or I cannot do this, automatically you're the worst person in the world. That's why I always say people know when you're a people pleaser, and they like to take advantage of that. They know. That's why I said I don't think there's no such thing as being too kind-hearted or too nice. Yes, there's people in the world who feel empathy on a different level than others, but however, I feel like nice should not be a thing. Like, real nice people are kind, they're polite, they help when they can. But if you were a really a nice, kind-hearted person, you would not be pouring out of an empty cup, because you would understand that that would lead to resentment. If you're nice and you think you have to like sacrifice every single thing for yourself and have nothing for yourself and keep pouring, no, you're not nice. You're simply a people pleaser, and you're in denial. Because if you were nice, you would understand that at certain times you can't pour from an empty cup, point blank period. Like, if you don't have energy to do something for yourself, how are you going to do it for the next person? No amount of love is going to do that. If you do that out of love, eventually it's going to lead to resentment. To be able to stop being a people pleaser, you need to stop bending over backwards for people, and especially people who won't do the same for you just because you're afraid of how they'll perceive you. For example, if someone's having a birthday party and you can't afford to go to that birthday party and you're not even that close to the person, yeah, simply communicate the way you feel and not like be too stressed about the way the other person will receive it. As long as you structure it in a way that is polite and it's not rude and it's not passive aggressive, you should not be too concerned about how people will react to certain things. For people, if you cannot do something, you cannot do it. If you're on your last, like, let's say £50 and your friend needs £40, and you know that for a fact you are going to have just £10 in your account, and you don't know when next they're going to give you that £40, you don't have the money, babes. Like, you don't have to give it out just because it's there. Like, or you don't even have it to give it out. I'm just using the borrowing money one as an example, because you genuinely cannot pour from an empty cup. Because let's say, for example, you borrow your friend £50. Let's say, for example, you have £50, your friend needs £40. You know that for a fact that with your lifestyle, with how low on cash you are right now, if you were to give your friend £40, they cannot give you that money back as quick as you've given it to them. So you're left with £10. And let's say genuinely your friend cannot pay you back your £40 right away, and you're stuck with your £10, or let's say you've even spent the £10 or you need it. You're not going to feel love for your friend when they're unable to give you that money when you need it back. You're going to start to feel resentment and regret right away after borrowing them. Even after borrowing them that money out of love, you're going to feel resentment and a certain type of way towards them once they cannot give you back that money at a certain time. I'm using the borrowing money one as an example, but I'm not saying you should not lend money to your friends, but I'm just giving an example of what people pleasing is like. If you were not a people pleaser and if you were truly nice, you'd just be like, babe, I'd really love to. Like, you don't even have to say no. You can also compromise. You can even say, babe, do you know what? I'll be honest, I'm down to my last, okay? How about I give you £10 and we can work from there, and we can see how you can get your money up, or let's see how else you can get the money, or let's try and figure it out. Then you're offering a solution, you're compromising, you're meeting them in the middle. If you can't stand your ground enough to say no, try and compromise and meet them in the middle. But you should not like completely throw out what you need or throw out your own needs out of the equation just because you're trying to be nice and be. Another thing that you need to stop doing to stop people pleasing is seeking validation. Seeking people's validation will keep you unhappy. Until you're truly okay and confident in yourself and sure in yourself, you're never ever going to be happy. You're constantly always going to be watching over your back, thinking what other people think, looking for what people are going to think about you, concerned about, oh my gosh, okay, if I do this, that really portrays who I am. What's this person gonna think? What's that person's gonna think? You're never ever gonna be happy and truly yourself if you're always worried about what the next person will think. I don't mean this in a if you're doing the wrong thing and you should not be corrected type of way, but when you genuinely cannot do anything you want to do because you're so obsessed with how you be perceived, it's something that's going to hold you back in life. That means you're not confident in yourself. And in order to stop seeking validation, you need to be confident. Like, I've made a video on confidence, but I feel like I need to update that video, so a new one will be coming, so stay tuned. I'm going to make a video on how to become more confident and assertive. So I feel like if you want to stop seeking validation, you need to learn how to be confident in yourself, in the small little decisions that you make. And one thing about confidence that I like about confidence is that you can build confidence over time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be something where if you even begin to fake it, before you know it, if you fake having confidence enough or just pretend to be confident, automatically, I don't even know how it works, automatically you just like start to understand better the process of what you're doing. Like, for example, if you're at a job role and you don't know how to do something, just simply pretending that you know what you're doing, even when you don't know, is gonna get you ahead. That mindset of already feeling like you know what you're doing. I'm not saying having an inflated sense of self-worth to the point where, okay, you're actually making a mistake and you don't want to take correction. No, I'm talking about how the way you carry yourself in certain situations is so important. So you need to learn how to be confident in your decisions, your choices, like your opinions. Like if you stand for something, whether right or wrong, if it's a mistake that you make, stand on that. I love when people can stand on both their rights and wrongs. Like, don't only stand on your rights. If you're right, if you're wrong about something, cool, fine, you made a mistake, you can move on. It's not the end of the world. Like, one thing I don't like is when people try and use like a future mistake to try and hold you back. They're like, oh, okay, are you not afraid of this happening? Like, no. If it should fail, like when you have a growth mindset and you're a confident person, you should always understand that there's a possibility of you failing at whatever you're doing, or whatever you're doing not working out. However, that should never ever stop you. You should always think of something not working out as a learning curve, okay? And even if you get something wrong, you need to be confident in the fact that you will learn from that and not let it hold you back, because fear and lack of confidence are things that hold people back from achieving their highest potential and their truest potential. You want to be a content creator, yet you don't want to pick up the camera because you're afraid of what people are going to think about you. You want to start that business because you're so afraid of investing money and people not buying. You're so afraid of failure that you're more afraid of failure than you're afraid of not reaching your highest potential. And that's what's keeping you where you are. This is just an example. Like, I don't want to go too deep into the confidence aspect, but it plays a huge role in people pleasing, because when you're really confident in your decisions, you don't seek external validation from other people. Yeah, from time to time you need opinions of your loved ones, your friends, yada, but they should not be your center. Like, you should be your own center. You're explaining, over analyzing yourself, over apologizing. You can say no without apologizing, okay? You can say no and still like respect the other person without apologizing. Be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like I just can't make it this weekend. How can I make it up to you? I'm just really sorry, I've been overbooked, I didn't check my schedule. No. If you don't want to go for something, you don't even have to lie and over apologize. You may not want to hurt the other person's feelings by saying, okay, I don't want to go straight away, but you can say, oh, actually, I'm not going to be able to make it. Is it okay if we reschedule, or would another time work? Not that you say, oh, I'm so sorry, like, oh, I couldn't, oh, please this, how do I make it up to you? I feel so terrible. You don't have to do that, because then you're overcompensating, especially when you don't even want to do that thing. I only provided the compromise as an option if you want to do it. But if you genuinely don't want to do it, if somebody is your friend, if someone really loves you, they should understand you well enough to know that you will not want to do something. For example, if your friends are into something that you're not into and they want to go somewhere, for example, let's say it's a party, and you know yourself, like you've tried it out before, parties are not really your thing, and they keep telling you like, oh my gosh, come out, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be lit, and you don't want to go, you should be able to communicate, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to go out, and I don't really feel like doing it right now, so please don't force me, I'm happy where I'm at. If those people are going to start acting weird towards you because you don't want to go out, then that means they're not your friends. Because a true friend, or someone who truly cares about you, would understand that, okay, this is my friend, who does not like partying, she does not like social events, she loves to hang out with us at other spaces, but she does not like parties, she does not like loud music, and that is a friend who respects your boundaries. That is a true friend. But a friend who will start acting weird towards you because you don't want to go to a party, or because you don't want to drink, or you don't want to engage in certain things, that's not your friend. That's just somebody who wants to like be around you and drain your energy. Point blank simple. And you don't need to over explain yourself. You can just simply say like, it's not really my thing, I don't really want to go. You don't have to start like explaining, oh yeah, like I don't want to go because there's gonna be people there, it's gonna be loud music. You can just say, I wouldn't feel comfortable in that environment and I would much rather stay at home. End of story. And you can say this very politely, you can say this without being passive aggressive, you can say this without being rude, you can say this without raising your voice, you can say this empathetically. And if that person that you're communicating with is emotionally intelligent and cares about you, they'd understand. They'd not expect you to like push past what you believe in, or what you want, or what your values are just for them. Stop not trusting yourself. Like, you need to believe in yourself, because see, yeah, one thing about me is that I'm a sucker for people who are so confident, because it's just so inspiring. Like, it's so, like, it be that in friendships or like romantically, it's just so attractive when somebody's so confident in what they're doing and in their choices, even their mistakes. Like, I've said this before, you need to trust yourself more. Like, if you don't trust yourself with your own, like, you don't even trust yourself with your own words, you don't trust yourself with things that you said you were gonna do, yeah, how do you want the next person to trust you? Like, if you don't trust yourself, how are you gonna set boundaries? How are you gonna stop falling for every single thing people say? And that brings me to my next point. If you want to stop being a people pleaser, be a man or woman of your own word. I've spoken about this in my previous YouTube video, and I said that when you're a man or a woman of your own word, it's going to be very easy for you to command respect, or like to be respected, because people know that, look, this person does not play. If they say they're going to not command respect, but people automatically respect you when you always follow through with your word. Like, if you think about how you respect other people, you would also understand that people would respect you too more if you said you're going to follow through something. For me, for example, I don't respect people who always say they're going to do things and don't ever do them, because I make conscious effort to always follow through with my word. Like, if I say that, for example, if I say I'm going to go to the gym 3 times this week, I'm going to make sure I do that thing that I said I'm going to do. And that comes with like mental strength as well. If you said you're going to do something, stick to it. If you cannot trust the words that come out of your mouth, how are you even going to trust your own actions? Like, let's start from the words, the little things. If you cannot trust your words, how do you want to trust your actions? How do you want to trust your choices? If you're constantly like, and the thing about trusting yourself is that nobody can lie to you. Like, it's a war between you and yourself. So if you know that, you know, you always you say, I'm gonna start this tomorrow, then you don't start. I'm gonna revise tomorrow, then you don't revise. You procrastinate. You can do all of that in hiding. Like, nobody needs to see all of that. You can do all of that behind the scenes. Nobody's gonna see it. Nobody's gonna bother you. But it's gonna bother you because you know yourself better than anyone. How to stop people pleasing? Yeah, when you're setting your boundaries, yeah, and you're communicating your boundaries. Like, for example, if someone is yelling at you when they're speaking to you and you don't like that, you don't need to yell back and say, oh no, don't raise your voice at me. I don't like people raise their voice. You don't need to do that. All you need to do, this one, I'm still working on it because I hate being yelled at. Like, it's like an automatic thing, but I'm working on it though. Be more calm and collected and simply communicate that, hi, you don't need to say hi, but you can just be like, I don't really appreciate your tone with me right now, so I'm going to withdraw myself from this conversation, and if you'd like this conversation to continue, please do not raise your voice at me. You're going to want to say this not passive aggressively, not rudely, don't raise your voice, try not to fall into the same trap of doing what they're doing, because I know that's the hard part, because when you're really upset, it's very important to learn how to collect yourself, and I'm still working on this. You don't need to be on that level, because the thing is, if you start raising your voice at them, when they're in the wrong, you now have to apologize. When they were in the wrong at first and they've upset you, and now you're raising your voice, all of a sudden you find yourself apologizing to them as well, because you've also raised your voice. When in reality, if you had remained calm and collected, they would be the only people, or they'd be the only person apologizing in that situation. Why are you apologizing when you didn't even do anything wrong? Simply because you could not control your emotions, okay? Yeah. Not showing too much emotion, be it anger, be it sadness or whatever, when you're communicating your boundaries is important, just so that they know that you're not joking. You don't have to raise your voice to prove your point, you don't have to raise your voice to get your point across, etc. And you also don't have to be rude about it. Another thing that you need to learn when you want to stop being a people pleaser, you are not responsible for everyone's reaction. Like, as a first daughter in an African household, I feel this so much, because for so long in my life, I felt responsible for people's reactions. Like, not even just people's emotions, people's reactions, how they'll perceive things, but who cares about my own reaction? Nobody. So why would I be caring about the next? I'm not saying you shouldn't care about anybody else, but when you realize that you're doing this you're doing yourself a disservice by constantly putting yourself on the back burner for other people, always thinking about what premeditating people's emotions will literally drive you crazy. You need to understand that things change all the time, okay? People's emotions can go from here to hear all the time. And another thing you need to understand is the way human beings think. Everybody thinks the same way as you, and it's not your job. You're not a psychologist. It's not for you to come be analyzing, oh, human beings are like this, human beings are like that, human beings like to do this. It's not your job. But when you understand that with certain humans, there's just a way that they move, there's just a way that they behave, all of this is going to become so easy to you. With some people, yeah, you even want to argue with them, you want to get your point across, but you know that's not going to go anywhere. That's not your job to sit there and argue with them and be sad. You can choose to withdraw yourself from that situation, withdraw your energy from that situation, because it's draining you. And it doesn't matter what your relationship with that person is. If they really, really value the relationship as much as you, they would not be doing what they're doing. And you can communicate that to them. If they start to guilt trip you and say, oh yeah, you're not doing this, that means you don't care about me, blah blah blah. If they cared about you, you can simply communicate that. You look, if you cared about me, you would not be doing the same thing you're doing. If you truly cherished our relationship or the friendship or whatever, you would not be doing what you're doing to me right now. So it's not only my job, it's a two-way thing. Relationships work both ways. Be that platonic, romantic, family, every single thing. It works both ways, okay? So they cannot always expect you to be perfect and just, you know, be on the receiving end of everything and just be like good and polished. And no. If you want me in your life, if you want me to be happy with you, you have to treat me like I deserve to be treated, okay? And I feel like this is a hard one growing up, because I felt like I always needed to be like the perfect person, the good girl, the one who never gets anybody upset. But I'm just realizing that I'm a human being as well. Why would I be the one to never get upset, but everybody else is okay with upsetting me, pushing past my boundaries, saying whatever they want to me, treating me the way I don't want to be treated? But yeah, I really, really hope this helped you guys, and I want this to be a safe space. You guys, comment down below what you struggled the most with people pleasing and how you think that stemmed from. Definitely don't forget to subscribe, because that helps me out as a YouTuber. That means my videos will pop out more on the YouTube home feed. I get more subscribers, I get more views. It motivates me to come back on here. Don't forget to like also and drop a comment, because I love to read comments, guys. That's my favorite thing. So please, it's a two-way thing. I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still healing. I love to do the same. I love to learn from you guys as well. So yeah, and don't forget to check me out on other social platforms, because I'm really active on TikTok and Instagram. But thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.